Hi guys, the big question today that I want you to consider is how can your project benefit from open source collaboration? As we've been going through these first 2 frantic weeks of trying to get our working prototype together, I've noticed that some of you may have forgotten a little bit about the open source elements of this project, and I want to remind you of that. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to use fail fast, fail better source code to your advantage, and then I'll allow you to get to work, and then let's use the last 10 minutes of class to process journal. So the first thing I want to lead you to is our Moodle page. You'll see right here in all caps it's the FFFB source codes. Shoot, wouldn't you know it? Well, the other thing that I can do here is I can go to Google and I'll get in here to my drive, and I've got the folder on the drive. I can show you that from there. Okay, here I have the folder. Now you'll notice that there is a folder for each one of the 15 or so projects that you were all doing, and I want to show you an example of how this process of open sourcing works. Let's go to Once Upon a Time. In Once Upon a Time, just like all the other ones, you have your source code folder, and then you have your submissions folder. The source code is where the maintainer is going to put the current version of the source code. Okay, and you can see that Valentina is the maintainer on this one, and she's already put version 0.1.0. That means it's the alpha version. It's not ready for public release, but she's put it up there so that other developers could take a look at it. That is important, and I want to encourage you that when you've just got some code that you're still developing, put it up there. The reason is that in open source, everyone has access to your source code, and what they can do is download it into their projects folder, and that's what I've done here. I've got Valentina's source code right there, and then when you do that, someone else can go, it can open it up. Let's see if I can get that open. They'll open it up, and then essentially what you can do is go into her blocks and start to kind of sandbox around with it. Now, I tell this to you because that's exactly what Juan Diego and Fernando Chero did just the other day. They went in, they downloaded her source code, and then they went to the submissions folder and they uploaded some bug fixes. They identified some bugs in her code just by sandboxing with it, made those fixes, and submitted them back to Valentina. So now Valentina can take this code and incorporate it into her own source code, release a new version, and get a better product. Okay, I want to give you another more practical example. Michele McClue yesterday submitted this source code for my tutor. All right, and I went in, since I downloaded it and then uploaded it back into my app inventor, I was able to go in and kind of hack or play around, sandbox with what he created. And the basic idea is the following. On his first screen, you can click on a list of tutors, or you can click on an assessment calendar that then leads you to the Roosevelt assessment calendar for each grade. And I'm going to try to get the emulator going here so that you can actually see it. So he connects his buttons to the assessment calendar on the Amersol website. Well, I was thinking about the project that Simone Iriberi is trying to do, and I went in and I started to kind of play around with it and hack it to change the destination, and I'll show you what I did. So under assessment calendar on grade 12, what I wanted to do is hack into this and change it. So instead of directing us to the Amersol website, it would direct us to this YouTube video of a Nirvana song. And all I have to do is go in and paste the YouTube link in there under 12. And then I'm going to go to Designer. And for this is a text box. So for grade 12, I can click on this, come down to the text, and change it to Nirvana. Alright, now I've already made the switches, but all based on his existing code. So I'm going to go and reset the connection to the emulator, run it, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. And of course this always takes a while to load, even more so at school where the internet connection is not the best. Hang in there with me, I'll show you what it looks like. So the idea was basically that used to, when you clicked on grade 12, it would take you to the assessment calendar. Now, when I click on Nirvana, it should take me to the YouTube video of Nirvana, and we can play that on our Android device. And it'll take 13 seconds to load. Hang in there, 8 more seconds. And this is the true benefit of open source. The idea that everybody's putting their source codes up on those folders so that you can actually go and get the code, load it up into your project, and start seeing how they coded it, borrow code, sandbox on their code, either resubmit it to them as some bug fixes or some changes, or use it for your own project. And of course, give those people credit. So here it is. This is the assessment calendar. Yeah. And I'll click on Nirvana. And because Michele's already done the code that connects that button to the internet, by changing the URL, it now takes me to YouTube instead of the assessment calendar. You're going to see this load. Here it is, Nirvana, the man who sold the world. And then even cooler, you can actually see how it works. I'll click the play. It's loading the video. And there we have it, Kurt Cobain and Nirvana playing on our Android device. So please, use open source, use the power of open source to take a look at other people's codes, sandbox with them, use their code, or share back changes to the code and bug fixes to help them in their projects. All right, guys, that's all I got to share with you today. Ciao, ciao.